Market conditions remaining mildly bullish in this bull market, seeing some nice acceleration here really across the board. We're seeing momentum working its way back up towards that bullish trend. Breadth also improving, and we're seeing sentiment which has been strong and is remaining to be strong here at these levels. Looking at the buy-sell ratio, we did see buy-sell ratio pop back up above 1 yesterday. Today's, well, as of the close last night, 1.17, 1.27 yesterday, and 0.75. So yesterday was the first day it ticked back up above 1. When that happens, you're getting this green line moving back up. That means that bulls are gaining control of the market currently. You start to see that shift to the positive side. 1691 versus 992. We're also getting that the sentiment bouncing off of that low point here and continuing to accelerate. That 50% location also has been moved past, so we're now back up in this upper trending location on this sentiment. This is of S&P 500 right here as well. If we take a look at current market indices, really everything at hold across the board. We're seeing that continued strength here in SPY. Solidly back up above the 236 into that momentum zone here. Hasn't quite turned back up into that bullish zone quite yet, but we are starting to work through this resistance area that we've been talking about right here as of yesterday. Really, both of these really significant areas. Now that we're up above that, all of this is now going to become support, or should become support, okay? Meaning that anytime that we bounce or move back into that zone, it should act as buying pressure, some demand zones happening right here. Really, all indices are showing that. Let's take a look at the Qs. Good solid move. Again, you can see, if I just move this over just a little bit here, you can see this line a little bit better. And same story there. And we've talked about that. It counter trended up, found resistance, pulled back. Now that test, now this move here, that's additional confirmation that we're moving this direction until that stops, right? That's momentum is starting to pull us that direction. That's going to be the overall bias, but still continuing to strengthen. So even a nice pullback into the support could act as a little bit of a springboard moving higher. Let's take a look at the Dow here also. Again, also solidly bullish right here. Another day or two will get us back up into that uptrend, starting to see that sentiment starting to shift. Let's take a look at bonds because that is still in play. And looking at the bond pattern here, I'm going to actually remove volume off of this and go out to the 1 year time frame. So we're still in that bearish 1 year time frame, but we're finding some support right here, that deep retracement off of that, in this case, that 236 and that bearish trend. Let's see if we can shift it over to a bullish trend. There it goes. 618, 786 retracement here. That 786 fib level is a little bit deeper in that deeper retracement zone, but bouncing around that 618, that's a good area for support to start to happen. So if we start to see support in bonds, that means that interest rates are starting to come down or anticipated to come down. So we're seeing some support happening here in bonds. It's in a downtrend though, so we could see it bounce back up to this area, which I think a rally in bonds and a rally in stocks as interest rates are falling, that could also be on the table right here. Let's look at sectors quickly. We've got a nice move in sectors. Everything's back to hold. We're just on that cusp of shifting everything back up. All short-term trends are back up again. So definitely shifting towards a more risk-on, bullish environment now in stocks. Commodities, let's look here. We've got USO, which is oil, retracing, continue to retrace. Again, a bullish sign. We want to see this continuing. So now we've got stocks lined up for upside. We've got oil lined up for downside. We've got bonds lined up for upside, at least in the shorter term, which means interest rates come back. Those are setting the stage for more risk on, more bullish environment right here. Let's look at gold also and see if that is still retracing. Still a little bit of a pullback in gold. I definitely keep an eye on that, on some of those gold miners, basic material, any mining stocks. Still, I would be watching and considering. Muscle stocks for the day. We've actually got a couple of interesting trades here. We've got Nvidia and Palantir. Palantir's earnings came out last night. They weren't fantastic, but Nvidia back up into this zone right here. If you've been waiting for an opportunity to look at Nvidia, this is that opportunity. Continuing to see stocks like Modine, which is in the trucking refrigeration space. It's actually had a fantastic year. Nice confirmation move here on that stock as well. So we're starting to see leaders that are starting to come back to life again, and that's what we want to see. We want to see some of these retracements. In some cases, we get stopped out. In some cases, we have an opportunity to get into a trade that needs to reestablish its base and then start more upside. That's what that pattern overall looks like, especially once it's up into that momentum zone and then gets a retracement and then some confirmation. If we add volume back in here as well, you can see we've got some increasing volume. Keep an eye on, take a look at some of this, the list. You're also seeing uranium stocks. You've got Cameco. There were a couple of others and some steel stocks. Here it is, UEC. So we've got uranium, UEC. Really kind of choppy right here, but just you can see that support level. It's wanting to work its way back up. Keep an eye on UEC, also Cameco, which and Toll Brothers. See what home builders are doing. So really across the board, seeing some nice sectors and rallies starting to gain some momentum. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.